Lady Lily, back with another video, and I present to you Scarf Chronicles. Now I'm just playing. You all know that the choir come on late, so it's right before bedtime when you see me with the scarf on. So I'm gonna bring you the review anyhow. You know the deal. So this is the Quad Season 2, Episode 7, The Middle Passage, and this show opens up is the coach. Showing the coach playing poker against the long shark, and he is feeling like he's pretty lucky, and he's gonna put all his money down to make the bet. The long shark is like, no, ain't you forgetting something? And then it shows him like showing the image of his girls. I guess showing him like putting the image of the girls next to the money. Apparently, he thought he had a good hand, but the long shark had a royal flush. So that had to be like a dream sequence. It didn't show Coach like waking up or anything, but I'm assuming that was like a dream sequence that the coach was having. It goes to Noni. Noni is at the Southwest campus. She is shining up the music department instruments, and she is cooking up a plan. From there, it goes to Sid and the pledges. Now, as you know, last week they was left stuck in the woods with nothing but their drawers and their bare butts and feet. Their feet, they're in their drawers and bare feet. So they managed to, this week, they managed to make it back to campus, make it back, well, at least make it back to the frat house. And then Big Josh, the guy who's known to have been messing up online, he decided enough is enough. He is out, and he drops the line. Meanwhile, Sid and Bryce is tend to be developing, a deeper friendship, a deeper bond. And then he said, Bryce is pretty much telling Sid, I appreciate whatever, what you did. And then he said, wouldn't you do the same thing for me? And Bryce said, yeah, I would. So their brotherhood, their friendship, their brotherhood is deepening, based on, what they've been going through. Ebony meets up with Sid, and she is telling him now is the time to get back into making the music. She said she got some people who heard, some of what they've been doing, and they're kind of feeling it. All of a sudden, Ebony sees Cecil Diamond come into their dorm room, and she goes the other way. And it just left Sid looking at like what's going on. Eva is meeting with the board of trustees, and anybody who knows how university systems work, the board of trustees, even though there's a president to run a university, they have to consult with board of trustees, which usually consists of alums or key officials in the community or key business leaders, or maybe donors or whatever. But the board of trustees had to make any type of moves. The board of trustees are the ones that decide really what moves are going to be made with the university, and it is the president that answer to the board of trustees and have to carry out things. So just giving you a little background that I know that I know that based on me working at a university myself. So Eva is meeting with the board of trustees, and it has been decided that GAMU is gonna be merged with the Atlanta public school system. Basically, it's a done deal. Eva is trying to fight it. She said, you didn't allow me to come up with, finish my game plan, come up with the other options. And they said pretty much, we have gave you a chance. We have weighted your options, and it's a done deal. It is what it is. So Eva pretty much, she walks out of the meeting. She is, having the episode. So she's fussing for her pills. She goes to her purse. The pills are not in her purse, not in her drawer. So she runs to her coat pocket, and apparently, yes, that's where she had the pills. She's going to take the pills, and the secretary busts in on her, and apparently she ended up dropping the pills everywhere. So the secretary goes to help her pick the pills up, and she just tell her no, she need to get out. She needs a moment. She just can't believe that this merger is actually happening, and she feel like she, has failed. Carlton and his lady, I'm assuming this his wife, I don't know, girlfriend, they're meeting with the White's father, which is played by Big Boy from Outkast, and they're trying to convince him to let the White come and play for GAMU. They was just saying how they feel that all black children need to have get a quality education from a black institution. Big Boy, on the other hand, the White's father feels that, if he decides to go to GAMU, how he's going to get a Heisman. It's important for him to be at a D1 school so he can be drafted and get high in the, high draft in the NFL. So, Carlton is pretty much, asking, his brother-in-law, is this, are you really looking at the best interest of the White, or are you trying to, fulfill some of your football dreams that you did not make happen? So, that caused Big Boy to up and leave. Noni goes to meet with Ebony, and she says she need to borrow her computer. Apparently, Noni is up to, doing her dirty work for Cecil Diamond. And Ebony wants to know, why are you doing this? After what he done to you, after what he done to her, what really is the point of this, at this moment for her to continue to do this, to try to win her way back onto this band where she doesn't really belong. And Noni said, this is all she could imagine, this is all she ever wanted to do, but really that wasn't a good reason. So Ebony let her have it. There is a big meeting. The student body has gathered, and the Board of Trustees have officially announced that the merger, that GAMU will merge with the Atlanta University Public System. The students are pissed. They're in an outrage. Eva's just sitting there in a daze. And then Ebony is talking to Noni. She said, how could Dr. Fletcher allow this to happen? We just had, this discussion last week, with the protests and everything. And then Noni said, look at Dr. Fletcher. Just look at her. She's in a daze, You can tell she's not cool with this, because it's just her whole facial, her whole body language, her whole demeanor is just saying, this is not my, idea. So once the meeting was over, it shows Eva walking off pissed with the Board of Trustees. So the students are upset, but they can kind of tell that this wasn't really Eva's idea, because Eva does feel like she let the students down and she left herself down. Caesar is meeting with Carlton to see, what's going to be our next step, how life is going to change for us with this merger. And really, Caesar's saying that's not really his focus right now. His focus is trying to get back at Clive Taylor, because he said he can't believe that he just was upfront and honest about stealing his actual music. So, Eva is sitting with Coach. Coach say, let's have a drink, to, simmer down. And, he was telling Eva to look on the bright side of things, with the influx of cash that's about to come through that will really allow her to, really do some great things at the GAMU campus, make some dreams into some reality, and it's a chance to make history. Eva doesn't see it that way. She really see it as she failed, and she said, how is it that a school that was founded by free slaves now has been sold over to a white owner? So it was just something to make her think about. And then Coach is really trying to, get her to see the positive side of things. Anyway, at that point, Coach gets their moment get interrupted. Coach get a call from his wife. Now, I don't know if this is supposed to be his current wife or his ex-wife, because I feel like they are fluctuating. 1 week, season 1, I thought the mama was dead. Then this season, they saying that's the ex-wife. Now they saying it's the wife. You need to make your man up. But maybe they ain't divorced. Maybe they just separated. But I feel like they keep fluctuating what she is to them. So he goes off to attend to her. And apparently she was in a car accident. A truck hit her and apparently caused her to run off the road. And they pretty much know who did it. And the loan shark called and said, where is my money? The coach told him, hey, he said, I've given you half. He said, well, we need the other half. So I guess he's saying he's going to continue to go after them until he get his money. Now it flashed back to Caesar and Carlton. They are enjoying the night, having some nice tasty cigars. Because Caesar said he's ready to kick Clyde Taylor and the Southwest University band in the upcoming battle that's coming up. Meanwhile, Clyde Taylor, steps up and he said, hey, I didn't get an invite. They get into a little bit, and apparently Carlton Pettyway's woman, comes and, interrupts the flow. So, she kind of helped simmer down the mood because it was about to get heated in the streets in that place. Meanwhile, Sid and Ebony is working on their music. It sounds okay, but Sid said when he went to have it, critiqued by some engineer, and they're saying, the quality is not there, and he is saying that him and Ebony really needs to invest in some studio time, because if they want to, have a good product, they need some better equipment. They need to be in a room with great acoustics and all that. Then Ebony goes to say, hey, we need like a vocalist on this track, And then he was saying, well, between you and I, we can fish for somebody, a fake Beyonce or something on campus to help, lay down a hook for our song. Eva is meeting with the the Atlanta State president, and it's pretty much, okay, she met with the president of Atlanta, the Atlanta president. Pretty much it seems as if she's going to be calling the shots almost. And it's like, okay, well, what the hell Eva's going to do? She's saying, of course, the white guy that's over the system don't know nothing about running HBCU. So he's entrusting her to make sure things run, on one accord. Eva's concerned about GAMU. Is GAMU still going to be independent? Are they going to lose their identity? And then, the president of ATL is saying no, but there are some things that got to be consolidated. And Eva's saying, I'm not going to cut my staff. I'm not going to give up certain things. And she's saying, yeah. Then the president said, the ATL president said, she feels that she is more than qualified to tackle the whereabouts of GAMU, being that she is actually a historical black college, alum of a historical black college. So that kind of shuts Eva up. Noni discovers that Clyde Taylor has a history of stealing music. So Caesar Diamond is not the only victim that has been faced with his music getting stolen. Clyde Taylor has a long history of stealing music from other schools, stealing music from programs that are much smaller than his. And apparently what it is that these schools probably don't have enough money or enough backing to go fight him on it with attorneys and lawyers and stuff. So that's how. It's not that he has original musicianship. He's known for, he has a history of stealing. So Noni was able to, show Caesar some video clippings of bands, who have originally, performed and conducted these pieces. And then she goes to show how Southwest years later or whatever later stole it and try to call it as their original pieces. And then she also was able to download a lot of his music and compositions on a flash drive. So she said she pretty much told Caesar that her mission is complete, and she gave him the uniform back. And she was saying, I was trying to, find what would be a good reason for me to stay and try to work this out to be on the band. And I cannot really find, a reason. And she was just saying how now that Clyde Taylor was been exposed, it'll, be helpful. It'll save some people's work and stuff in the future. Eva, meanwhile, wants to know why the coach has not been talking to the white earlier in the episode, Coach did Eva try to bribe Coach with a little gift basket and was telling him that he really needs to talk to Dwight, since Dwight did show a strong interest in GAMU. You know, the coach got other fish to fry with his financial issues that his ex-wife or wife is going through. So that's not really his focus in life right now. But he told her he'll get back to it. He will talk to him. Meanwhile, Caesar went to confront Clyde Taylor, and he mentioned that he knows what he's been doing. And then he was saying, why are you, how did you do that to me? And then he said, were you still holding that first chair audition against, he said, are you holding a grudge based on your first chair audition? And apparently Clyde Taylor helped reminding him. He said, he was hazed. He was beaten down to a pulp, and he was still healing. And he said, you knew that, and you still told me to suck it up and still play. And then Caesar said, I don't remember that. He said, it's funny how you have a selective memory when it comes, based on when it came to people getting their butt whooped. So apparently this GAMU's band has had a long-standing history of hazing people and putting people through the ringer just to play on his band. So I guess that was his way of payback many years later for all the abuse and, his missed chances he had, when he was on GAMU band. The coach go meet with his financial advisor, and what he's going to do is try to draw money, I guess, from the daughter's college funds / his 403B. So for those of you who don't know, you heard of when you work in corporate or certain federations, of a 401k, which is like your retirement plan and all that stuff. So it's a 401k. But when you work in school system, whether that be, primary, elementary, higher ed, you have what they call a 403B. So it's the same thing as a 401k, but 403B is just for those who work in the field of education. So apparently he was going to withdraw against this account. And, she was just saying, well, it's going to be penalties and you're going to be taxed for this. And he was like, just do it. I already know before I change my mind. So as the financial planner goes in to pull up the information, it's been brought to her attention that his wife had went into the account, took the money, and closed the account. So she been gambling off this money probably for the most part. So coach is mad. Meanwhile, back at the frat house, it is time to turn things up a notch. The guys are there, and he's saying, this is the next step of the process. If you're not interested, you can bow out gracefully now. So all the guys stepping up, saying they're in. Then they get down to Sid. Sid paused a little bit, but he is in. And apparently they go into the next room. Now they're dressed up, so I don't know how much they thought trouble they was going to get into, because they had on white shirts, black ties, and black pants. So they enter the next room, and apparently it's their official initiation ceremony. So you got Cards and Pettiways, Caesar Diamond, some of the alums you have seen in prior episodes for this Sigma Mu Kappa fraternity. You see all the big brothers, they all dressed up in nice suits. There's candles lit. So it's the sacred initiation ceremony in which they cross the burning sands, they get pinned, and they take their oath. So Sid, Bryce, and the other guys, minus Big Josh, are now officially members of Sigma Mu Kappa Fraternity Incorporated. So Bryce's dad is there, congratulate them. Vice President Pettyway is there, Caesar was there. And Bryce is telling Sid, no, Sid told Bryce, you did it. He said, no, bro, we did it. And then I guess, Sid is, kind of thinking, this fraternity thing might not be so bad, learning about the history and all that stuff. Outside of the bull crap, there is some good things that this fraternity is known for. And then they had, I guess one of the alumni members just, go back to say what, how this chapter was formed and all this good stuff. So I'm glad that part is over, and Sid and Bryce can probably go back to a normal life. then Bryce can continue to follow in his footsteps. Meanwhile, Coach is at home, and wife or whatever, she's packing up. She said she's gonna figure something out. She said she gotta talk to them. And then he said, talking ain't gonna do no good at this point, and why did she take the money and all this stuff. So anyway, it's supposed to be later on that evening, and everyone's in the house sleep. The loan shark goes into the house, looks at the girls, then he goes into the room with Coach and the wife, and he pulls a gun out on Coach, and he said, I don't care what you do to me, just don't hurt the girls. And he said, well, I don't plan to hurt anybody as long as you got my money. So they hear the girls say, what's going on? And then the mom goes off, to tend to the girls to make sure they stay out of it. So apparently Coach and the loan shark, they go into a back and forth tussle. The gun is in, they're both grabbing towards, got the gun up in the air. They're both like trying to yank it out of each other's hand. And all of a sudden the gun goes off. You just see the outside of the house. They don't show who got hit, but the gun goes off. So we will have to see next week. We have to wait till next week to see who got popped off. Was it Coach? Was it the loan shark? Or did nobody get popped off? So looks like things are going to continue to heat up. I guess next week Eva's going to try to wing herself off the drugs or whatnot. We will see. So hopefully you enjoyed this review. As I said, I am enjoying the quad very much this season. I feel like there's a lot of things that's relatable, and that's it. Like, comment, subscribe. Stay tuned for more videos. Have a good evening.